राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय 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 राम ओम शेर सकिला श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम 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 राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय 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 श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम। ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम। राम जय राम
जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम।
Sit down. Okay.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम।
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम। श्री राम जय राम जय जय
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om Pranam Swami.
For the past 2-3 days, we have been trying to understand how to move from the devotees level to the sadhakas level. As devotees, we have faith in God, we want to realize God. At the same time, our mind space is also given for various other sense objects. So it is not exclusive. So here, Papa keeps on harping this, that unless and until it becomes one-pointed, it may not bear the fruit, at least to the extent we all expect. So, Papa has placed it before us, which are the areas where we have to do the fine-tuning. And as spiritual children of Papa, we know that the main prop, main support is to hold on to our holy and all-powerful Nama. So yesterday, while going through, we said we should have the right perspective while chanting the name. Though so many guidelines have been given to us, though with all enthusiasm, sincerity and intention, we have been practicing it, still there is insufficiencies. Because we do not remember him. Probably we may be able to have a glimpse of that remembrance during our chanting period. But immediately after the chanting is over, we are back to square one. We keep on trying. Probably sensing the need, Papa is making us to dwell more and more on this aspect. The purpose of chanting the divine name is to remember him. The first and foremost thing we have to somehow hammer this. We are not doing chanting for the sake of chanting. Purpose of chanting the divine name is to remember God. While repeating the name, we should be aware that the name and God are one and the same. In order that repetition does not stay at the lip level, we are cautioned that when we are repeating the name, we must feel that we are repeating the name of one who is within us and who is our true life and being. These words of Papa also should come back to us. We fail, we forget. We have read, we have understood, we have appreciated, but still, during the chanting or after the chanting, are we in a position to hold on to this? We will again remember, in order that repetition does not stay at the lip level, we are cautioned that when we are repeating the name, we must feel that we are repeating the name of one who is within us and who is our true life and being. Without it, the repetition becomes merely mechanical and does not help us in any way. So these two things Papa is reiterating, that I am chanting the name of one who is within me and who is making me to chant. And emphatically he says, without it, the repetition becomes merely mechanical and does not help us in any way. When we attune ourselves with the name, we attune ourselves with God. We must keep this central fact in our mind when doing the japa. Then the practice will gradually make us aware of the divine existence within us. Just as when we think of milk, all the qualities of milk will automatically flash before our mind. Similarly, the chanting should bring to mind the attributes of the divine in the form of love, truth, awareness, existence, etc. Though at the time of chanting we do not find great joy and upliftment, immediately after that the pull of senses, though at the time of chanting we do find great joy and upliftment, immediately after that the pull of the senses and the me and mine have their sway over us. While chanting, we should also keep praying for His grace to be able to overcome these down-pulling tendencies. The name, when thus chanted with the right perspective, helps to purify the mind and free it from the clutches of me and mine. The efficacy of the mantra lies not merely in its incessant repetition, but also a constant attention to it. The sound of the mantra will then be found to have a most soothing effect on the mind. It will lull the feverishness of the mind. This equanimity will, in its turn, awaken the sleeping divine consciousness, bringing the soul in direct contact with the indwelling, all-pervading reality. We have to take the name of the Lord with all strength and faith and repeat it breathlessly, as it were, at all times, whether we are at our bath, in the kitchen, on the road, or in the office. We must keep dinning this fact into our mind and take refuge in the name. Then each repetition will have a new meaning. Each repetition will carry us nearer and nearer to God. At the same time, we should know that parrot-like repetition only signifies our failure to recognize Him. We should know that parrot-like repetition only signifies our failure to recognize Him. Moreover, it is to be remembered that if the name is chanted with the right perspective, doubts would not trouble us much, because the answer also will simultaneously well up. So if doubts arise, we should know that the name has not been chanted properly. Whenever we feel we are not progressing, we have been asked to resort to Satsang, solitude, and chanting of His name. Satsang makes us aware of the potency of the name. It helps us to become aware of the thoughts to which the Nama will take us. So whenever the morale is sagging or our effort becomes lukewarm because of our preoccupation with so many activities in the world, we need regular satsang. Satsang is not necessarily with an illumined person. Satsang can be had by going through the teachings of such Mahatmas. Finally, we should know that satsang is to commune with the Sat within. So these are some of the expressions of Papa. So when we hear, every now and then we have to read this, And he says, wherever we are, we should try to chant. And chanting is to remember. So remembrance is important. Chanting we have been doing for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. But whether remembrance is there, that is the important thing. As we said, when we keep on thinking about it, praying to Him, why is it that immediately after the chanting is over, I get disconnected unknowingly? Why don't you make me aware that you are always with me, you have been with me? Each one can jot down the points. Why is it that I have not been able to chant? We have faith in the words of the Master. We have faith in the Master. We have enjoy chanting. We have faith in the name. In spite of all these things, why is it that we are not remembering Him throughout? This question should come back to us. And he said, whenever our mind is preoccupied with so many other things, we have to resort to satsang. So that means we have to keep on doing manana on these aspects. There could be one more way. Either you make me to remember in the way in which I understand remembrance, or make me to accept that whatever thoughts, whatever deeds, whatever talks that you make us to do, it is coming from you. Because language we have understood, language conveys to us some meaning. And when we read the revelations of masters, we try to interpret it through the language which we know. Literal meaning. We know forgetting and remembering, So if we say, when everything is emanated from you, why don't you make me feel that you are behind everything? Unknowingly, why do you make me to feel that I am the thinker, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, I am the sufferer? Because why we say this, Papa used to say not in this way of his attainment. He said side by side with the contemplation on the various attributes, omnipresent, omniscient, like that. So that means he is behind everything. He is behind everything. So he has been, while chanting, we can interpret that he has been trying to hammer this truth also. You are making me to chant. You are making me to feel that I have forgotten you. Why don't you remove that? I am not asking anything more. You make me to go through all these things. You make me to feel that I have understood. At the same time, the moment I come back to the field of activities, I feel I am back to square one. It's a feeling. You are behind everything, but it's a feeling. Why don't you please remove that feeling? That is why we said remembrance. What is remembrance? We are trying to understand that. In the while giving initiation of mantra, Papa was talking about the sweetness of Ram Nam. In that talk, the first thing he says is Ram does not want anything except the name. So what does that mean? We are reading your words, we are trying to understand it like any other text. But what exactly is the theme? Ramdas can tell you this much, that from the very time he started repeating the name, he began to feel the sweetness of it. So he used to pray to God. He does not want anything else, only he wants your name. Let your name be ever on his tongue. It is because it is so sweet. So it proved to be not a means to an end, but an end in itself. This is the wonder about the name which he is repeating. So he does not want anything else, only he wants your name. Gandhiji says Ramnama or some equivalent is necessary not for the sake of repetition, but for the sake of purification, as an aid to effort for right guidance from above. It is therefore never a substitute for effort. It is meant for intensifying and guiding it in the proper channel. Another evolved soul writes, many consider repetition of mantram a mechanical repetition, but each step on a journey, though superficially the same, uniquely takes you to new territory, moves you closer to your destination. The repetition of the mantram is superficially alike, but each takes you ever deeper to consciousness and closer to the goal of love and awareness. The mantram becomes, Gandhiji says, the mantram becomes one staff of life and carries on through every ordeal. It is not repeated for the sake of repetition, but for the sake of purification. Where is it that we have erred,
Swamiji,
Huh?
is it because Other thoughts always cross our mind.
Huh?
Because other thoughts drop in our mind all the time. Is it because
Okay, there is no other thought, actually. So we keep on, are we insisting or are we pestering him to make us always remember him? Word again, when we say remember, if we don't have if you have only the literal meaning, we may find this gap. We have been trying, Let us try to become practical. Theories and all those we have done. We have been also trying to do Nama with all sincerity, with all earnestness. Whenever during the year-end program, whenever devotees come here, we can see that with our own eyes how enthusiastically they take part in the 24 hours bhajan. Even at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in midnight, the tempo is kept alive. So that means we have tasted it. But as soon as the session is over, unknowingly we get disconnected. So we have to do this because not that we are new to this, not that somebody has to teach us about the sweetness. All these things we are doing it. Last year also, we had the 7 days, Akhanda Ramnam. Daytime we have Satsang also, it's all right. But Akhanda Ramnam, always the Samadhi Mandir will be full. And during night, after there won't be any, what do you call, Arati, but still we go there and offer the agarbatti, something. At that time we can see how enthusiastically everybody is taking part. And as we approach this mandir also, the whole thing, we will be hearing it. At that time we used to remember, we used to ask ourselves, whether this chanting is remembrance or whether we are remembering that you have facilitated all to us, facilitated everything for us to remember him. You also make us to involve in so many things. You also make us to chant. Have we unknowingly given the definition of remembrance only at the time of chanting? Is it because of that I am not in a position to feel that I am remembering him always? This is something on which we have to do some introspection. Have we defined anything that this is called remembrance? Is that why we are unable to feel that we are losing touch with him?
Swamiji,
Uh,
only Vyavaharic when happening, when intervenes. Otherwise, our remembrance will be continuous and inherent. And thereby, the Nama chanting will be continuous within our mind and innate. This Vyavahara, each and every day, we have to, right from start till the bed. Living apart from all these, essentials to be attended to, remembrance is continuous. And thereby, the innate feeling is also there, wherein there is no chance for any diversion, if it is so.
yeah, all those things we have to keep on thinking, we have to keep on reflecting.
Yes, Swami.
We will get the answer. Because what is meant by this remembrance, Unknowingly we would have defined to ourselves that remembrance can be possible only by chanting.
Sure.
That means there will be non-chanting time also in our daily life. So at the same time, we have to remember. Probably what Papa meant, we don't know. We have to keep on reflecting. That from what we have understood from Puja Swamiji's words, which he wrote in 2003, that though he does not chant the way in which normally people take it up on a regular basis, so whenever he does it, even for a short time, the impact of which will remain for a longer time. So that gives us some clue. That means while chanting, suppose it is with the right perspective, the impact of which will remain with us for even during the non-chanting time. So then we try to understand what is the right perspective. Am I just chanting for standing's sake? This thing, we have to keep on reflecting, because one will know what one has got. Because all of us have been chanting, no doubt about it. So where should the fine-tuning take place? Where should it take place, Luckily, by His grace, we all enjoy chanting. We all enjoy chanting, hearing the mantra. So that stage, He has already blessed us. Now, along with that, we should feel that He is with us always. So that is the next stage. Initially, none of us will be able to. But at least He has now, Papa used to say, even to chant, even to join the chanting, we should have the right samskaras. What is the use of chanting the same mantra? All those things, it does not occur to us at all. So we have been blessed with that, and we enjoy it. Anywhere we hear the chanting, there is an inexplicable, pleasant feeling that wells up in our heart. We may not be able to define what exactly it is. So all these things are all part of remembrance only, But then again, why I feel disconnected? So am I unknowingly feeling that chanting only helps me to remember? When Papa says chanting is for remembrance, so remembrance is important, For the past few days, this has been drawing our attention again and again and again. So, some points that have come to us, we have to try and see whether that stays with us. Something like, whenever we feel we are disconnected, probably we can say immediately we open our eyes and see the entire creation, what all you have facilitated. So you are the great provider, remembrance has stepped in.
Yes, Swami. Yes, Swami.
Something like that. Whenever again the mind feels, it has lost the connection. So suddenly we realize, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam, you are there, otherwise how will they exist? Again the remembrance has stepped in. When we handle anything, we see that object. Suddenly we feel that object has come from where? You prompted somebody to have developed this. That is why the object has come before me. So again, remembrance has stepped in.
Swamiji, today you brought out one point which is new to me actually. Is when you said satsang, you said remembering him who is already seated in our heart. Now that aspect, most of us, I feel that we are.
Yeah. Papa's beautiful word, that particular word, what is satsang, he says, finally we should know that satsang is to commune with the Sat within.
That has been told somewhere.
So that is also a remembrance, Anyway, forget about what we have not done. He has not facilitated us. Now he is throwing so many things open for us now. So how to make it effective? How to make us feel that we are not disconnected at all? We are not disconnected, but there is a feeling that we are disconnected. There is a feeling that he has given that we don't remember him. So when we connect ourselves with the Sat within, probably that question will not come at all. In Bhagavad Gita, when he said, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtam matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. You are there, I am there in the form of knowledge. Smriti jnanam apohanam. Smriti means, remembering, memory. Jnanam is knowledge. Apohanam means forgetfulness. So even the very act of forgetting or feeling that we are disconnected with him is also his Leela. Please sit down, sit down, sit down. So now we are not praying for anything. We are only praying, don't give us the feeling that we are disconnected with you. Because we know now intellectually that without you we cannot exist even for a moment. When you made us to understand that you are in the form of life force, the moment the life ebbs away, we will not exist. So the very fact that we exist is because of your presence within us. These are all some of the ways by which, we try to correct ourselves. Never are we disconnected from him. But somehow we get the feeling that we are connected with him when we go to a temple, when we go to an ashram, when we chant his name, when we do bhajan, when we attend satsang sessions, and other times, no. We say we are back to our own. But actually now we know that if he is not there, I cannot exist. So for some reasons he makes us to feel that we have forgotten him. So we are now only praying to him, you kindly remove that feeling. That is the only thing we are asking. Can that be one of the ways? We have to think and reflect. Bereft of him, we cannot exist. That much he has given us the knowledge, The heart beats, the breathing goes on, because of which only we exist. We know fully well. We have no role in this heartbeat. We have no role in this breathing. We have no role in the blood circulation. We have no role in digestion. And these are all the things which makes us feel we are existing. If that power goes away, we are dead. We will not be here to discuss. So we know, when Papa said the life is the expression of Atman, or in Bhagavad Gita when the Lord says, Jivanam Sarva Bhuteshu, he is the very life force to which I owe my existence. Then why are you giving me the feeling of forgetting you? When by your grace you have guided me to know that I exist only because of you, why don't you please bless us with that feeling always? What method as an sense of individuality I should employ? What is my role in keeping this remembrance always? So along with the chanting, even if the period ever so small, suppose we try to dwell upon these thoughts. Is that why Papa said, the more you become reflective and huh?
Reflective and meditative.
the more nearer you are to? Is that what you meant? When you said, the more you become reflective, the more you are nearer to Him. But at the same time, He also said, ceaseless repetition side by side with. When he was pursuing for 2 years, that gave him the balance. Just like when we learned the cycling, the balancing power, no? The balancing power by which we don't fall, we continue to have the grip of the cycle. It comes from within us. It is not coming from outside. So until we reach that balancing power, we may fail, we may forget. So is it like that when we say we are chanting, we are forgetting, we are chanting, we are trying to remember, but we are forgetting. Like that, we have been trying. But the balancing power which is lying hidden in us, it is yet to come out explicit. Is that so? Huh?
Once we learn how to cycle, then we remember how to have the balance forever. But in this particular case of remembering the Lord, we are all forgetting the Lord as such. So,
Are we forgetting the Lord, or is it a feeling of forgetting the God?
feeling of forgetting.
Ah. Because we know now that bereft of Him we don't exist. But still the feeling comes that we have forgotten Him. So what we are trying to remove from our mind is only the feeling. Because if He is not there, I don't exist. That is the simple truth. Because He is there in the form of life. He is there in the form of awareness, consciousness. He is there in the form of primordial intelligence. So without this sense of individuality cannot function. So the very fact that the sense of individuality exists is because of Him. So the remembrance is the feeling of forgetfulness, feeling is that, can be defined like that? We have to see for ourselves.
As you said in that the Lord is always remembering us.
We are not.
We are also remembering Him. But the feeling is there that we are not remembering Him at times.
So now intense prayer and try to, when probably another method could be when we try to identify every object. As it is, we have seen this mic is an object. So as soon as I see the object, if I start training the mind, it was a concept you gave in somebody's mind. Amplifier, no? How can the sound be amplified? That was the seed thought you gave to somebody, which ultimately, through trial and error or so many persevering, patient effort, commitment, it came out in the form of this thing. So we try to connect up everything wherever possible. There may still be gaps. Will that be able to remove the sense of forgetfulness of him? Well, like that, we have to try, so that our mind will not grumble or complain that we have forgotten him. Nothing is an answer. These are all some points that are welling up in our mind, or he is making us to dwell upon these points. And each one has to find the answer for oneself. One thing is very clear. Without him, we don't exist. Whether we know him or not, whether we remember him or not, whether we worship him or not, whether we deny him or not, whether we ignore him or not, he has not left us. How do we know? We exist. Is that pointing out to something,
Like if we say, like you said today morning, that if we say 5 times that I am here and you are also here, I am here, you are also here 5 times.
Something like
We
that.
are, maybe that's the start.
Probably this is what he meant. We don't know. That is one of the ways by which we can now approach him. That the more a man becomes reflective and meditative, the nearer he approaches the true springs of life.
Swamiji,
Ah?
like you always said, like a screensaver.
Huh?
Whatever, like a screensaver.
Screensaver. By default, it should come.
Yeah. But when the activity is not there, screensaver comes back.
Correct. So we have to do along with chanting, all these things he makes us to go deeper only because of his love towards us, and he is placing before us so many thoughts by which the fine tuning will enable us to know that we never forget him. Even the very act of forgetting also he is giving for some reasons. So we should also, you did not make me to remember. Okay, then probably we may get an answer. I wanted you to involve yourself totally in that. So there also, it is his job I am doing. Whether I am involved in the household work, whether I am involved in the professional field, whether I am involved in the social field, the moment I come to know that I am doing his work, I need not remember him in the way in which I have taught myself what is remembrance. There could be so many ways, Is that what Papa meant by this word? The more a man becomes reflective and meditative, the nearer he approaches the true springs of life. Springs, spring, water spring, is the origin, from where the life has originated from somewhere. So that means, is he pointing out that the more we become reflective and meditative, we should be moving towards the origin from which all of us have emanated, which is called remembrance of God. Yeah, today he is asking us to get more and more clarity on the word remembrance. So how will I eradicate this feeling of disconnectedness? At times I am disconnected with him and I bother only about the me and mine, I say. I do not bring him into the picture. These are all the words we normally use. So I should be free from that feeling. When after some time Papa was asked by one of the devotees, is Papa chanting nowadays? Then Papa said the entity that was there, it is not there at all. So that gives us a lot of ideas, a lot of clarity. The doubting Thomas is not there. The entity that feels disconnected is not there. So is he pointing out through that we will get over this, gap or feeling of disconnectedness only when you become one with him? So that means one with him means one with everything. Is that why Mataji said that this is Papa, this is Papa, that is Papa, this is Papa? We were not able to understand what she said. But is it that? We are now trying, the reflective and meditative aspects. Becoming one with everybody, one with everything, sorry, not everybody, one with everything leads us to constant remembrance of him. So then we now pray, rephrase our prayer and then say, why don't you make me feel that when that is the truth, why do you make me to become unaware of it? Why do you make me ignorant of it? Why do you make me feel I am still, very often I feel your absence. Whereas your absence can never be there. Whether I close my eyes or whether I open my eyes. When I close my eyes, the one which is thinking, which is striving, it is there because of you. When I open my eyes, you are there in the form of various objects. So when that being the truth, why do you make me feel that I don't remember you? Or when you make me to chant, why don't you help me to dwell on these aspects? Because we are comfortable with chanting. We don't have to introduce any new other methods. It has been helping us, no doubt. But still this feeling is there, dots are there. Yeah.
Swamiji, is this feeling helpful in some ways to decide the goal of your life? Because sometimes when the goal is not there, this feeling keeps coming on and on. But once the goal is there that I want to see God, realize Him in truth, then the gap of that feeling starts to
Shrink.
shrink. Because even if you sleep, again, you get reminded that my goal is Him. Like for example, if we are trying to solve a mathematics problem and you're interested in the subject, even in night you constantly keep thinking of this problem and not necessarily something at home or brother or sister or whatever. You're thinking about the solution to the math focus on expanding your business. But that is the goal. But if the goal is God, then the
Yeah, please.
feeling has to start
Forgetfulness of the goal.
forgetfulness of the goal.
Good, good. That's a beautiful point. Yeah. Intense aspiration they take. He makes us to pass through such thoughts, correct. So in today's satsang, he makes us to go deeper into it, and while holding on to the name, we try to bring in all these things. You have provided all facilities for me to chant your name so that I will remember you. Remember you means to know that you are behind even this chanting. That is called remembrance. And then the moment I stop the chanting, somehow this does not stay with me. With the result, I feel I have forgotten you. Actually, I cannot live without you. That I know very well. At the same time, I feel I have forgotten you. And at that time, the me and mine comes and predominates. That is why I feel I have forgotten you. Whereas the me and mine itself owes its origin to you, that I don't realize. So when I chanting, why don't you please bless me with that feeling? Though you said that we should be chanting with the feeling that you are the one who is prompting me to chant. Right from the beginning, we did not practice like that, so it is difficult for us to make it a habit in today's chanting. You kindly help us. It's a beautiful word. You should know you are chanting the name of one who is within you and who is making you to chant. We remember, it has been placed before us, by Puja Swamiji himself as Anandashram when he came and when he placed before Papa the then state of his mind, and Papa gave him initiation, and when he said, Papa did not utter anything more than that, and then he asked, when I write some doubt, will you answer? He said, no, Ramdas will not. Then finally he patted on his back and said, if you get doubt, you should know you have not chanted the name properly. When Puja Swamiji narrated this to us, at that time we had some concept about what he said, but later on we find what he meant was, what Papa would have meant was remembrance, remembrance, remembrance. That is the ultimate goal of all spiritual discipline. So Ramnam should enable you to remember him. If we don't have this mental background while chanting, we may feel disconnected with him. This is what we thought at that time. All those things help us. And Puja Swamiji was telling us that not that we were in a position, he was in a position to keep up that remembrance as understood by us. So a lot of things had to be done along with the chanting. Have we done that? We try to understand. So that how to remove this feeling of forgetting him. Now we feel that if we try to feel this always, that he is behind everything, he is behind everything, he is behind everything. The very act of chanting, is also included in this. then probably the tendency to separate the remembrance to this chanting session, probably we might be able to get over that obsession. Probably, we don't know. It is something on which we have to try and see for ourselves. You see now how he drives us. Right perspective is the word he said. You must have in the place a right conception of God before they try to attain Him. You can sit this side. Correct. Now you look. There are so many who are doing sadhana. They do not know why they are doing it. Their conception of God is very limited and narrow. They must have, in the first place, a right conception of God before they try to attain Him. So the concept of God, right? Something on which all of us individually we have to do, There can't be any general statement about this. Ultimately, even the chanting also has to be pursued in our own unique way. So we try to dig out for ourselves some clues by which we move closer to Him. We feel we are away from Him. So how do I get over that feeling?
The crux of the case is that I am chanting His name and it goes on. But at the back of my mind, what I started off by saying that I am chanting His name is forgotten because my concentration comes to chanting. I must hold on to that feeling that I am chanting His name.
Whether this proposal is right or wrong, it can come only when I try, I must try. So before we leave, we will just read out again. The purpose of chanting the divine name is to remember God. While repeating the name, we should be aware that the name and God are one and the same. In order that repetition does not stay at the lip level, we are cautioned that when we are repeating the name, we must feel that we are repeating the name of one who is within us and who is our true life and being. Without it, the repetition becomes merely mechanical and does not help us in any way. When we tune ourselves with the name, we tune ourselves with God. We must keep this central fact in our mind when doing the japa. Then the practice will gradually make us aware of the divine existence within us. Just as when we think of milk, all the qualities of milk will automatically flash before our mind. Similarly, the chanting should bring the attributes of the divine, namely love, truth, awareness, existence, etc. Though at the time of chanting we do find great joy and upliftment, immediately after that, the pull of senses and the me and mine have their sway over us. While chanting, we should also keep praying for His grace to be able to overcome these down-pulling tendencies. The name, when thus chanted with the right perspective, helps to purify the mind and free it from the clutches of me and mine. The efficacy of the mantra lies not merely in its incessant repetition, but also a constant attention to it. The sound of the mantra will then be found to have a most soothing effect on the mind. It will lull the feverishness of the mind. This equanimity will in its turn awaken the sleeping divine consciousness in us, bringing the soul in direct contact with the indwelling and all-pervading reality. We have to take the name of the Lord with all strength and faith and repeat it breathlessly, as it were. in the kitchen, on the road, or in the office. We must keep dinning this fact into our mind and take refuge in the name. Then each repetition will have a new meaning. Each repetition will carry us nearer and nearer to God. At the same time, we should know that parrot like repetition only signifies our failure to recognize it. Moreover, it is to be remembered that if the name is chanted with the right perspective, doubts would not trouble us much. We can't say there won't be any doubt, but it will not trouble us much because the answer also will simultaneously well up. So if doubts arise, we should know that the name has not been chanted properly. Whenever we feel we are not progressing, we have been asked to resort to satsang, solitude, and chanting of his name. Satsang makes us aware of the potency of the name. It helps us to become aware of the heights to which the Nama will take us. So whenever the morale is sagging or our efforts become lukewarm because of our preoccupation with so many activities in the world, we need regular satsang. Satsang is not necessarily with an illumined person. Satsang can be had by going through the teachings of such Mahatmas. Finally, we should know that satsang is to commune with the Sat within. So let us all try to dwell on these maximum. Jot down the point that strike to us, not for anybody else, for our own. Huh? 99% of the words are from Papa, one or two we would have added, that's all. So let us all try to do this manana on the theme and try to...
When we chant with full concentration, we become one with the chanting. When we don't do with concentration, then...
That is right. We have been blessed with that. The only point now is during the non-chanting time. He has at least blessed us to have this sort of feeling during our chanting session. Over the years, he made us to practice. And he has blessed us with that feeling. That is why we are continuing the chanting. Chanting is a part of our life daily, no? It has become ingrained in us. Now, our only point is, we feel we get disconnected with him during the non-chanting period. How to get over that? On this, we have to do, each one will know from their own experience where we stand. And we will get our own answers. More of it, we will do it on Monday. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram. Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om, everybody. Pranam, pranam. Pranam, pranam. Hari Om. Pranam, to one and all. Hari Om. Oh, pranam. Eh?
What, auntie? Pushpa auntie tried to tell something. Okay.
Turn off camera. Yeah. What is it that you wanted to tell us?
Every day there is Monday.
Today is Friday.
Today is Friday. Tomorrow Satsang is there. Sorry.
Tomorrow will be there. I thought it's today is Saturday. Right.
Swamiji, they are alert.
Sorry.
It didn't register me.
Buddha ho gaya na.
No, we are also Buddhas. We expect us.
Tomorrow. I thought it's Saturday. Ayo. I thought tomorrow is Saturday.
ಎಲ್ಲ